Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be recapping last night's playoff basketball. We only had one game last night, unfortunately, but it was a really good one between the Knicks and Pacers. We're going to recap it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to also like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Knicks and Pacers, the only game we had last night, game 2 of their first round matchup. It was a really, really good one. The Knicks end up pulling off the win, winning 130 to 121 and taking a 2-0 series lead, winning both games in New York. Very interesting one to start. You know, it was 36-36 at the end of the first. Some really interesting strategy I was seeing. The Knicks are kind of playing the Pacers game, which is something I said when I talked about game 1, where the Knicks were kind of playing more sped up than I expected them to. But it has been working. I mean, it worked last game and it worked earlier in this game as well. The first quarter, there was like 3 possessions in a row where they just ran back, got easy layups or dunks. You know, went coast to coast. Precious Achua went coast to coast on one possession. Then Josh Hart did it. And then I forgot, I think the last one was OG had an easy dunk for like 3 possessions in a row of just, yeah, like an easy layup or easy dunk on the other end because the Pacers didn't get back and they're kind of playing the Indiana Pacers game with them. Another thing I saw interesting from the Pacers, the entirety of the game, they were pressing, full court pressing. You know, something I haven't seen since, you know, playing middle school. So, yeah, like, they were full court pressing the entirety of the game. I guess trying to slow the Knicks down in a sense, but honestly, it kind of made the Knicks speed up a little bit. And then also Tyrese Halliburton got off to a really good start. He had 13 points in the first quarter, which is big because, again, he only scored 6 points in game 1. Only took about 6 shots, I want to say. So having him be aggressive early was a big thing. We get to the second quarter. Indiana has a big second quarter, outscoring New York 37-27. The bench provides a lot. Bench Shepard hit 2 threes in this quarter. Obi Toppin, Isaiah Jackson had 3 points. TJ McConnell hit a shot. He had 5 assists in this one. Tyrese hit 3 more threes. You know, and then also for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson did not play in this quarter. He went back to the locker room due to a foot injury. He was questionable to return in this game. OG Anunoby had a great first half, though, for the Knicks, keeping him afloat. He had 22 points on 8 for 15, shooting, hit 3 3-pointers. He was amazing in the first half. Tyrese also had 22 points. He had 5 threes. Obi Toppin also had 13 points in the first half. He had 10 points in the first quarter. Indiana held a good lead, and now it was like, dang, well, if Jalen Brunson doesn't come back, then Indiana should take this one. You know, Indiana was playing fast. They're playing really good basketball. Tyrese was being aggressive. You know, the bench was providing what they were providing in game 1. We get to the third quarter. Jalen Brunson comes back, and a Knicks freight train just hits the Pacers. The Knicks outscore Indiana 36-18 in the third quarter. Just an absolutely amazing run for the New York Knicks in that quarter. Dante DiVincenzo had 12 points. Jalen Brunson comes back. He has 10 points in the quarter. Josh Hart has 6 and 5. OG hits a couple more shots. Like, it was just everything was clicking for the Knicks. They shot 66% from the field in that quarter. They were 14 for 21, 4 for 7 from 3. They have rebounded Indiana 14-7. They doubled their rebounds. Like, it was amazing. And for Indiana, they shot just 8 for 24. They were 33% from the field, only hit 1 3. They were 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Just things were not really clicking for Indiana that quarter. Tyrese only had 2 points. Pascal didn't score. Miles Turner didn't score in that quarter. Like, it was tough for Indiana. The Knicks just kind of came out. Jalen Brunson put on his superstar cap. You know, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo were huge in that quarter as well. And the Villanova boys carried them on both ends. You know, they're just playing with so much energy, so much toughness and aggression in that quarter. And the Knicks took a big lead. Then we get to the fourth, and the Knicks kind of close this game out. Dante DiVincenzo hit a huge 3-pointer to Castillo, Jalen Brunson. And that fourth quarter was amazing as well. He had 14 in the fourth quarter on 5 for 10 shooting. DiVincenzo hit a couple threes in that quarter. Isaiah Hartenstein was amazing the entirety of the game. And for the Pacers, yeah, just couldn't really get things going. They missed 5 free throws in the fourth quarter. They were 2 for 7. Pascal missed 2 free throws. Isaiah Jackson missed 2 free throws. Miles Turner missed a free throw. And you just can't be having that. You know, 2 for 7. In the entirety of the game, they shot 58% from the free throw line. They were 10 for 17 for the game from the free throw line, while the Knicks were 18 for 22, 81%. That's been a big thing. I think the Pacers have been the worst free throw shooting team in the playoffs so far. You know, you just can't. You're not gonna win games, or you're missing out on easy opportunities like missing free throws. And the Knicks ended up getting the win. Jalen Brunson, just an amazing performance. You know, after only scoring 5 in the first quarter, didn't play the second quarter, didn't know if he was going to come back in play, and that was going to be a huge factor. He comes back and scores, what, like 15? Oh, no, I'm sorry, 24 points in the second half on 9 for 16 shooting. Hit some huge shots to close this game out, being aggressive despite the foot injury. He was coming out and was playing amazing basketball. Then OG Anunoby had 28 in this game. He had a big first half. He did leave this game in the fourth quarter due to a hamstring injury. Now, we don't know the status of what it's going to be like, at least as I'm recording this. We don't know if his availability for game three. I assume he might be there for game three. But if he's not there for game three, that's going to be a huge loss because OG has been amazing. Obviously, his defense on Pascal Siakam has been huge. But then last night, you saw a game where Jalen Brunson didn't go off to a good start, but OG Anunoby kind of carried the offensive load, which is something I wanted to see a little bit more. I'm not saying he needs to put up 30 a game, just saying be a little more aggressive and more involved offensively. And OG has been like that the past couple games. The last game was an amazing thing. Dante, 28, 6, and 4. He had 6 3-pointers. Huge to have Dante going. You know, him hitting those threes, especially clutch threes. Bigger than Josh Hart. Continues amazing playoff run. 19, 15, and 7 on 8 for 12 shooting. Phenomenal. Isaiah Hartenstein had a really good game as well. 14, 12, and 8 with only one turnover on 5 for 7 shooting. He was great in this game as well. The bench only scored 12 points. Precious, without Mitchell Robinson, Precious Chua came in. He had 8 points and 5 rebounds. Miles McBride was 1 for 4. Alec Burks played the last 44 seconds of the second quarter. The bench only had 12 points, but the starting lineup's just been so big. In the offensive rebounds, even though on box score wise, the Pacers won the offensive rebound battle, the Knicks got the ones that mattered. It felt like every time that fourth quarter, 5 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter, 3 of them to Precious Achua. Like, when it feels like every time, especially in the fourth quarter of this entire playoffs, every time they need something, the offensive rebounds has been just the one. The offensive rebounds has just been the thing that's just been the consistent, X factor for the Knicks. Has been their ability to get in, crash the glass, get offensive rebounds, get extra possessions. Especially in a playoffs type situation in a close game, that is just so valuable. So the Knicks' offensive rebounding has just been incredible, and it feels like again in this fourth quarter, every time they needed an offensive rebound, every time they needed an extra shot or an extra play, they made it, and that's what won this game. For Indiana, tough one to lose. The first 2 games have been tough ones. Game 1, obviously you were right down there, literally down to the wire. And then you got the offensive foul call and, some questionable decision making at the end of the game. And then this game, Jalen Brunson doesn't play the entire second quarter. OG Anunoby leaves the game in the fourth quarter, and you still can't really pull it out. Just tough. 2 really tough losses. 2 very winnable games for the Indiana Pacers that they couldn't get. Tyrese, like to see he was more aggressive. 34, 6, and 9. He was 11 for 19. He had 7 3-pointers. Wasn't as aggressive in the second half. He only took 7 shots in the second half after taking 12 in the first half. The bench was, again, phenomenal. Obi, 20 points. TJ McConnell, 10 and 12 assists. Ben Shepherd had 11 points. He had 3 threes. Amazing. And honestly, at this point for Rick Carlisle, you got to play the bench in the late game situation. Last 2 games, the bench has been the thing that's really been the X factor for the Pacers. Yet, the last 5, 6 minutes of the game, they go back to the bench, and the Pacers can't do anything. Aaron Nesmith, 6 points last night. Miles Turner, 6 points. Miles Turner has not really done much in this series. So far through 2 games, Miles Turner is averaging. Oh, yeah. Well, he actually had a good game 1. I'm sorry. I forgot the game 1. He was pretty soft, 14. But Aaron Nesmith's averaging 9 points on 38% shooting. He hasn't done much. Obi Toppin is their 3rd leading scorer in this series, averaging 16 points on 70% shooting. He's 12 for 17 from the field, and he's only played in 39 minutes. At this point, at some point, I think next game for Indiana, Rick Carlisle, McConnell, and Toppin have to close out the game over Nesmith, maybe even over Miles Turner or Andrew Nemhart. It's tough because, again, you have to have Tyrese out there. Pascal, even though Pascal's not been great, especially being guarded by OG. Last night, he only had 14 points. He was 7 for 18 on the field. He hasn't been as great so far through the first 2 games. Pascal kind of has to be out there. Miles Turner, it's tough to take him out, obviously, because Isaiah Hartenstein and the rebounding and stuff. But, I don't know. You have to find a way. I think you got TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin have to close out the game. Those were, after Tyrese, those were probably your second and third best player tonight was Obi and TJ McConnell. They're the ones that literally built that big lead in the first half and the ones that kind of mediated the game early in the fourth quarter. And they're only seeing 19, 22 minutes and 19 minutes from McConnell on top. And I just don't think that works, especially when Aaron Nesmith gets 34 minutes and he has 6 points. He's a minus 19. Like, I think Rick Carlisle fumbled the bag on, you know, both games of the series. Both of those guys should have closed out the game. I think that should have been what happened. But now, New York going back to Indiana, 2-0 series lead, not over yet. Indiana, again, two very winnable games in this so far in the first two games. Just couldn't really take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to them. But now they go back home, maybe get a little boost from playing at home. I think Pascal Siakam really needs to be better. And again, I said after game one, it's hard, especially being guarded by OG Anunoby, who's one of the best perimeter defenders. He's been amazing on Pascal Siakam so far. We don't know. Again, we don't know OG status for game three, but if he's not fully healthy or if he's not maybe available for game three, I think that's where Pascal has to shine. Pascal has to come out and have a 25, 30 point game this next game for Indiana. I really think he does. Like, he's one of their best, most consistent scoring options in terms of the half court setting. Like, I think Pascal has to get involved. When Pascal gets involved, I feel like this Pacers team is just on a whole nother level. So I think Pascal has to really get involved in game three and really show that why he's an all-star and star caliber player. I really think that. And I think, again, McConnell and Toppin, if they're playing good games, they have to close out. I think they have to close out the game. Like, McConnell and Toppin have been probably the second, third best players in the series for the Indiana Pacers. Like, those two have been amazing so far as the first two games. Yet they're only playing 20, 22 minutes. So, yeah, I think those two have to close out the game. I think Pascal has to be more involved in game three. If you're New York, though, I mean, you look really good. I mean, game one didn't have your best game, you know, but you still got pulled out the win. And then game two, last night, you had Jalen Brunson miss the entire quarter, OG missed the entire fourth quarter, or dang near almost in most of the fourth quarter, and you still pull off a good win. So if the Knicks are feeling good right now, you definitely want to clean some things up. The injury bug's just been hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. Like, it's so hard. Like, now with OG injury, we don't know what's going to happen. Already had Bogdanovich out for the playoffs. Mitch Robinson's going to be out for the playoffs now. And now you're still working on a very thin rotation. Josh Hart has to play every minute of every game now. But, I mean, he can do that, I guess. He's done it 4 times in a row. Why not do it another one, you know? But, yeah, this is going to be good. I'm very excited for game three, see how the Pacers come back at home and how they respond. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. That's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do also like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.